good morning, and welcome to Healing Affirmations for Your Soul. We're going to talk about becoming the butterfly, the rose, for those who love nature or those who love people. The question is, do we think about the in-depth process of becoming? When you look back over your life and you see what you have come from a child or a baby to an adult or even as a teenager, do you see your accomplishments or your achievements or where you have transformed yourself for the better? Or do you see yourself at a place where you're working on yourself? And whatever uh, area you see that you're working on is all good because life is a process. I think that we forget to tell people that in order to actually create happiness, we have to find the formula for happiness, and that means that we have to go within. That's much like the flower. We have a DNA process that lives within us that actually discusses with our inner being the formula for life, for prosperity, for healing, for kindness, for love, and for peace. We have that formula, but a lot of times because we have been born in a world that we're always looking at, subconsciously we're programmed to look at how to do things rather than go within to find the wisdom and knowledge on manifesting. And that's what, I find life to be. Someone else will see things differently, but the process of life for those who are trying to understand why they've had disappointment, hurts, pain, setbacks, the process of life tests us. It also builds us through these situations. A setback is looked at as in the natural as something that I don't want to deal with, but it builds your endurance to push forward or to find a way to get through. Finding the way can usually be a material aspect, but at some point in our lives, we're going to be called to look at the spiritual part. How do we push through spiritually? I look at the rose. What I see with the rose is the beauty of it, being birthed, immersed, the manifestation. And I see the beauty, but then my mind goes and says, look at or imagine what that rose went through coming up out of the ground. Hey, Fernita. Look at what happened to the rose. Imagine, because a lot of times we're walking by plants and trees taking for granted the pain that they suffer when we're all a part of nature. We have earth, wind, and fire all around us, but these are the aspects of life that people don't want to talk about. And even Jesus in the Bible discussed farming. Farming is a process that means that seasons and times, but it's not just seasons. The darkness is very much applicable to us sitting in the darkness to transform our life when something in our lives have went bad. And really, is it bad? We have to ask ourselves, because if it's bad, then I can't see any growth for myself. If I can't see any growth for myself, then I'm going to sit there in the darkness, because my lack of vision for myself means that I'm not able to go forward because I can't see anything else. We have vision. That vision is within, and that's where I look at the rose or even a butterfly. They are connected to their spiritual DNA or their inner DNA. We are too, but we have to accept that part, especially when that part is calling us. When something happens in our lives that is contrary to what we wanted, as long as we stay stuck in contrary, is how long it's going to take for us to find the next step. Like, people's lives are transforming. A lot of people are losing faith. But instead of losing faith, why don't we just understand that truly this is what the Christian says? And many of the other religions, their words are conducive to what I'm going to say. 16 and 25 of Matthew says, for whoever wants to save their life. See, when you give your life to Christ, That means that it's not your own anymore. No matter what you say, you want to go to the same workplace every day, Christ is in control because you gave your life over. This is something that we have to remember. So it says, whoever wants to save their life will lose it because it's not yours. You remember where you came from now. Now settle the score with your ego and tell ego to sit down and enjoy the ride. Even though the ride has been bumpy, we've still been on the journey with Christ, especially those that have been saved. Even those that did not confess Christ, they have been on the process and the road. It's just that they reject the idea. Once they, say, I accept it, then God will come in and say, I've been with you all along, because how could you breathe without me? How could you get up every day and do what you do, even though you don't give me credit for it? So let's go back to the roads because we feel this. You will lose your life. Before I go back to the roads, my question would be to anybody that views this: what's so good about the life that we had anyway? Isn't that what we're looking for? Salvation? For freedom? Freedom from what? Freedom from something that wasn't working. So why are we trying to hold on to something that ain't working? I mean, everybody got their own situations they're being transformed from. They're moving from cities to other cities, states to other states. Relationships are transforming. Work professions are transforming. The way we do work is transforming. And grief is all over the world. Anxiety is all over the world. It's like when I look at the rose, yeah, I believe that it suffers some pain breaking through the dirt. But I also believe that it understands there's no other way but to grow. And then the growth of it, now we're on a bush. Let me just make that understood. Yes, I'm there. But the other thing is that when I look at the process of life, it's the same. Because Jesus said, when the pruning, I think it's in John 16. I'm not sure, but it's over in there in John. He said that, when the pruning of the rose bush, you got to cut away the old parts. This is applicable. So that means that the rose is going to have to go through another transformation. They're generally cut off and put in vases or given to people for beauty, for some type of gratitude or gift to another person. And so it's very applicable to our servanthood. Now, how we serve is another subject. All right. So you will lose your life as a disciple of Christ or any religion, because all of the religions, until we understand spirituality within that religion, is leading us to understand salvation. Now, when you get into spirituality, you understand that salvation is an individual thing. You don't have to be with people all the time to praise God. You have a spirit connects, and your soul wants to speak to you to get you on the next part of the journey. Because the journey is not just that, oh, I had some hardships in life. Oh, I've been changed. What are you going to do with the change now? And knowing that, yes, your devotion is what gets you through the change. Your devotion means that you're devoted to your change. That's what you see in the flowers, any of them. Their devotion is to know that a seed is planted in the dirt and it's dark there. People like us, we run from the dark, but we can't escape it because we're on the same path as that flower or that rose. Okay, so to save our lives, we'll lose it. But whoever loses their life for me will find it. That's the part of the parables, finding your life. And it's not cliche, because I can say with all my heart and soul that, I've been through some things. I cry like everyone else, but I get up and I forge on. When something is not happy in my life, I turn it into happy. That means that I am not sitting in the fact that I'm not happy with this. Oh my God, what am I going to do? I do consult spirit, but I'm not staying in unhappiness, because I was meant to be happy, prosperous, love, but love myself first. I was meant to be all of the spirit. But before I can create the fruit of the spirit in my life, I got to understand the unfruitfulness, Galatians 19, within myself, right? So for Whoever wants to save their life will lose it. But whoever loses their life for me will find it. I want to find the truth of who I am. And I want life that's deserving for me, don't you? Right? Okay, so here is our healing affirmation for today. And any comments, any of you that want to be a part of my leadership group, you can email me at ifwbuilders@gmail.com. I'll also put my website address here. All right. So here we go. Your affirmation for today is lack. Now just hear what it's saying, because here is the number 29. 29 is about change and transformation, by the way. So I would look at this and say, if I had a lack mentality, I'm turning it into prosperity or increase. And it says, leading a spiritual life does not mean living in lack, all right? This card asks you to release any underlying beliefs that you may hold regarding entitlement and worthiness that may be blocking your ability to receive. Entitlement is something that is a word that's used for people that believe that something is owed to them. We hear that all over the world right now. I believe that there is a due process for me, but it comes from God. Every day that I come to work or wherever I go, whatever I'm doing, creating, the creation is coming through me from God. I think that we spend a lot of time looking for things from people, and that's good, but I got to understand where the blessings come from through the people. And then I have to understand that as the blessings come through the people, I thank God for them in my life, and vice versa. Wherever we are, the lack of gratitude can get us nothing because we're complaining about the transformation. I mean, is the rose complaining? I would say, well, we don't hear it, but it may, because it is equipped DNA to go along with the process. We don't hear it because it's a flower. We hear each other, and that vibration of negative complaining, it pulls others down and it keeps us down. So to overcome a mind of lack, complaining, lack is in what you do, how you see things. It's in believing that you'll never have what you want out of life. Lack is submitting to negative and saying that I'm just going to settle for what is. If Christ had to settle, then we would be where? If he had to settle to just stay here, by the way, that spirit, where would we be? So lack. When you have an abundance of wealth, both inner and outer, you will have an abundance to give and to share with others. You know, explore sharing. And so that is your affirmation for the day. So God bless you all, and remember the rose. Even Aretha, she sung about the rose. It's still a rose no matter what it goes through. And we are human beings having a spiritual experience no matter what we go through. We are to remember the spiritual experiences. Blessings and have a good weekend.